All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of make sure that um, the assignment, what we're doing, is more or less clear for everybody. I want to make sure. Oops. There we go. Okay, everybody should be able to see my. What the heck? Sorry, I'm dealing with some. There we go. Okay, everybody should be able to see my home screen here. And what I've done is more or less from this point forward till the assignment's over. When we meet live, I'm going to be putting all the links for the assignment each day we meet live there so that you don't have to search back and go to an archived lesson last week. So you should obviously know what park you're doing by now. So I don't have the list of parks there anymore, but that should be a given by this point. The assignment overview is there, the rubric and where to submit your finished product is there, the list of resources, and then the final product example, which I know some of you have been utilizing, which is good. Today, your assignment was to submit your notes progress, basically to send me a screenshot or a picture of what you've accomplished so far in terms of your notes. I know some people have emailed me that they're a little bit further on. Please understand that you're working at your own pace, but because this is the first major assignment of the year, I have to give a good amount of time because of everything that's going on with other classes. And on top of this remote learning situation, we need to make sure that we're getting off to a good point here. So if you're nearing the finish line, that's fine. I just want you to know that this is still something for today. Okay. So I want to go over kind of like my checklist that I've created. And I put a screenshot in today's assignment or today's link for Monday the 24th. So you have that there so that you can look at it again on your own time. I'm just going to double check to make sure there's nobody waiting in the, no, there's not. Okay. So let's go over these. So step one, obviously, is researching park information based on the assignment expectations. That assignment, which has all the check boxes, which kind of goes over all the information for the park, you need to make sure you're sticking to that because you can easily overlook something there if you're not going down the list, because if you remember the example that I showed you, that I provided for you, that example goes through the finished product in essentially the same order that's on the sheet. Okay. So that's something that I think would be beneficial for you to kind of stick to that. And I'm not saying that you have to exactly, but I think for the most part, the flow of the project works better in that order. Okay. But you have to remember, don't overlook something because a lot of that stuff, if you don't have where the state's located, or if you don't have the general basic information to start on top of all the more detailed information that you're going to find, that's going to be a problem. And what I would do is I will address that, and I would want you to go back and fix that. Okay. Keep track of your websites. You need to make sure that you have your websites tracked. What I always tell people is at the very top of your notes page or whatever, copy and paste links. Okay. It's not nps.gov. It's the specific site within the park page for your park that you found that. You may have 7 different links within the National Park Service website because sorry, I'm trying to load here. You may end up having a situation where you have like 6 different sites, but they're all within the same web page. Okay, so it's important to remember that to keep track of those because your links to animals and plants and your links to environmental factors and your links to history are all going to be 3 different sources, 3 different links. So if you think about that, it's not just National Park Service as the bibliography. It's the link in which that takes you to whatever information you're trying to find. Okay. Locate images and maps related to your park. Be sure to know what is specifically being shown in the image or map so that you can provide a label in your finished product. Okay. So again, if you look at the finished product example, what you have is you have exactly a detailed description of what that is in that picture. That, you know, if it's a specific scene in Saguaro National Park or whatever, you know, if it's, and I know if you're showing a map of your park, it's kind of redundant to say a map of Yosemite National Park, but still, it tells me that you understand exactly what you're sharing and what you're utilizing. Okay. Okay. So keep track of that. The label images thing is something that's often overlooked. Okay. Once you feel you have a good grasp of your information, you have your websites checked, and you've located your images, begin working on your Google Slides presentation. And honestly, if you have steps 1 through 3 basically done, 4 is going to be pretty easy, because all you have to do is take the image you have, excuse me, the information you have, and apply it to your Google Slides presentation. Okay. Make sure you include a title slide, park name, your name, class period. Look at the example. That's what I will just tell you time and time again. Go back to the example, go back to the example. That's why I put it there, because I know for a lot of you going into this, you were maybe thinking, okay, what does that finished product look like? What is that final product going to look like? Okay. Utilize your researched information in your Google Slides in your own words. Okay. You need to take the information that you have gathered, and you have to be able to formulate it in a way so that it does not read directly from the website when you are putting it into your Google Slides presentation. In other words, and you've heard this by now several times, you're not simply copying and pasting the information from the website to your project, because 1, that's dishonest, and 2, it's going to be very easy for me to tell me, and 3, I don't want just everything copied and pasted with a citation that this came from National Park Service, because I could have just gone to the page to see that. You need to be able to formulate it into a presentation explaining what your park's about, using the information in an effective way. Okay. Is there any questions about that on step 5 here? Please send me a message or unmute, because I want to make sure this is, I think we all understand this, but I want to make sure, just so. Okay. Step 6, provide in-text citations in your Google Slides as needed. I mentioned last week that we would talk about this today. Okay. This is something that some people have familiarity with more than others. And for a lot of people, this may be a new concept. If you read a nonfiction book that covers a topic historically, a lot of times the author has these little numbers at the end of a sentence that corresponds with something in the footnotes or something at the very end of the book where the references are listed. And what that author is doing is saying, I got this information from this source. This is not my original information. So for example, I put one here. There are over 25 species of cacti in Saguaro National Park. I found that from the National Park Service website. So I put NPS in parentheses, okay? A lot of times you're not going to find an author. Hear me, listen carefully. You're not going to find an author when you're utilizing the National Park Service website, because the author is the National Park Service. It's not as if it's Joe Schmo writing on behalf of the National Park Service. Okay. So this is one example. This is an in-text citation. You have the source or the author in parentheses, and you have the in punctuation after the citation. The other thing you can do is like a footnote citation. All right. The footnote citation would be, this would be gone. Let's say I'm citing this part right here. Okay. At the end of this sentence, I would put like a number 2. They call it superscript in the Google Slides, like number 2 or number 3. What does that number 2 or number 3 mean? That means that this source, this fact, came from source number 2 listed in my bibliography. You can do it either way you want. All right. If you're not going to number your sources, then don't use the numbers like the footnote citations. Okay. If you're not going to do that and you're just going to do something like this, you just have to alphabetize your bibliography. Okay. Last thing, and this is, I put this at the end because this should be the last thing you do before you say I'm done. Okay. I review information for spelling and grammatical errors. I cannot tell you how many times this comes up because someone says, I'm done, I turned it in, but you go back through and on the first slide, the name of the park's not capitalized or the dates are misrepresented, okay? It's very easy to type in 1688 when you're trying to say 1988. It's very easy. So you need to be aware of this. And again, this checklist is right here at the bottom. So you can go through there and you can say that it's an embedded image. You can say that and you can go through what I'm trying to do. Again, I'm trying to front load as much support as I can for you on this project. I know for some of you may seem like I'm overwhelming you. I'm not trying to. I'm thorough when we do these kinds of things. So maybe it comes across as I'm throwing too much at you and I apologize, but I'm trying to be thorough in making sure that we understand that the assignment, maybe, there we go. This assignment is telling me what I need to have, okay? And I'm going through here and I'm checking off. All right, I have all my dates, basic fact information, boom, check. I have history about the park. I have found as much as I can in this section, check. I know where the state in which the park's located. I know about unique plants and animals. I'm not listing all 155 different types of salamanders. I know the climate. I know the unique landforms and park features, why people visit here. Please, if you're doing Mammoth Cave, don't just say, well, people come here to see the cave. I think that's a given. What is unique about the cave? Why are people going there? I was there 2 years ago. So think about that. I went to Mammoth Cave specifically for the features of the park within the cave, not just that there's a cave there, okay? Issues. Please note my disclaimer. Not all these issues may relate to your park. So don't stress if you're looking for 10 hours and I can't find anything about land right issues. May not be there. Recreation opportunities and tourism. What is the economic impact on the local community? We need to make sure that we understand that, okay? So again, we are going to still meet live on Wednesday, and we're going to still meet live, obviously, today. If you just popped in, I'm going to have a recording of this, but basically what I just did is I went over this checklist, which is posted in today's assignment or in today's class. If you just popped in, it's right there. So this would be something I would definitely review. All right. So please understand that. Does anybody have any questions? Is there anybody confused about anything? Is there anybody that is uncertain about what I'm expected to do for this assignment? I'm hoping the silence means that's a yes, or we're not all just frozen. Okay. Okay, cool. Here's the thing to remember, okay? If you're stuck on something, I can't find information on this topic. I've looked and searched all over the place and I can't find it. Pop into my office hours from 1:30 to 2, the link's in the page, course page. You go back to the home page. Excuse me. Second. If you go down here, join the office hours today. Okay. Join the office hours today. And I'll be happy to answer any questions. And obviously send me messages. Send me Canvas messages. But again, I want to support you as much as I can. I think that I'm giving you more than enough time. I really do. But I also know that we want to get off to a good start to the year, okay, with this project. So if there are no other questions, I'm going to let you go. If you were if you weren't able to join at the beginning, make sure you can review the recording. I'm going to post that here in just a little bit.